So today, we're going to go ahead and get a bad EZA video out on STR Jiren. I do not have my webcam on today because it isn't working, so I'm going to try to get it up and running as soon as possible. So, let's go ahead and jump into talking about STR Jiren's bad EZA without further ado. So, this guy's leader skill is Universal Survival Saga 3 key and 170% across the board, or STR 3 key 120% across the board. So his leader skill is not really a big deal to why he has a bad EZA, because leader skills are just leader skills for some of these old Dokkan Fest. Now, his super attack effect is definitely good. He gets 50% attack and defense in one turn, and he greatly lowers defense. Greatly lowering defense obviously being worthless, but him gaining 50% attack and defense in one turn is definitely quite good, because if you take a look at his pre-EZA, he got no defense on super. Now, going on over to his passive, he starts out with 2 key, 200% attack and defense, and has a 30% chance to stun all enemies, which is obviously nice for off-meta content. He is also Feather against all Tyson facing only one enemy, and he also gets 30% damage reduction facing 2 or more enemies, and he gets 50% attack and defense, and also a 50% chance to stun the enemy when performing a super attack. So of course, the stun chance and the additional attack and defense on super is nice. Of course, the stun chance for off-meta content and the 50% attack and defense on super is definitely helping him out, because he's getting an attack and defensive buff from his passive to his super attack effects. Now, he also performs a guaranteed crit when the enemy is stunned, because, of course, he kept that from his pre-EZA right over here. And he also gets 111% attack and defense, and performs a guaranteed crit when going against a Universal Survival Saga or Tournament Participants category enemy. Now, where does the issue lie in this card? I feel like the issues in this card is this right over here. The fact that he has to face a specific amount of enemies to get his damage reduction, and of course he has to go up against the one enemy to get the effect against all types. This is definitely the issue with this card. And I feel as if though Dokkan's approach to him having to go up against multiple enemies to get his damage reduction is a approach that they took similar to how they did the LR Majin Vegeta, where his speech replicates his passive, and I still, to this day, think that LR Majin Vegeta has the most clever card design in the game, because they took his speech and they made it part of his passive. You have to have like a Goku, a Bulma, a Trunks to get all his buffs off. I really like that creative little design they did for LR Majin Vegeta. Now, for Jiren, I feel as if though they took a little bit inspiration from the LR Majin Vegeta like design and made him have to go up against 2 or more enemies. Either that, or they just wanted you to have this guy be a battle road god, which of course this guy is a battle road god, but hear me out. Now, he has to have 2 or more enemies, of course, that he's going up against to get his 30% damage reduction. Now, do keep in mind, in the anime, this guy is facing Goku and Vegeta at the same time. He faces Goku, Frieza, and 17 at the same time. So I think that they took a little bit of inspiration from the anime, and then like they chopped it into his card. That's just what I think, and I think that is not the way to go, but that's the only vision I could see that Dokkan went down the avenue for. Now, if that isn't the case, then the only other case is the fact that this guy has 2 separate stun procs, one up against all enemies, and one when it's hitting a single enemy. Of course, he has a double stun chance inside of his passive, which is obviously very powerful for off-meta content, and he also has damage reduction facing multiple enemies too, which of course is powerful for Battle Road. Now, with that being stated, this is an issue for meta content, because what red zone stages have multiple enemies? Off the top of my head, I think of the red zone gammas. I think of the red zone 16, 17, and 18. Is that about it? There's probably more. Yeah, there's probably more. Yeah, there's the red zone Super 17. Yeah, there's a Red Zone Super 17 for like the first round of Red Zone stages. That's 3 so far. I know there's more, but I can't think of... Oh, the Red Zone Mecha Frieza and King Cold. That's another one, where you face the little Frieza soldiers in the first phase, and then you face Mecha Frieza and King Cold in the second phase. So this guy can definitely be used in some red zone stages where you're going up against multiple enemies, but the issue is that this guy does not have a single 200% leader skill to speak of. And how I know that is that I went over to the little Dokkan wiki website, the other one of course, and usually it shows 200% leader skills that he's on, and guys, he's on no 200% leader skills. And even if he was on any 200% leader skills, guys, guess what? His best linking partners are absolute dog water in meta content. So you are never going to use this guy in in meta content, even if you're facing multiple enemies. So go back on over to Jiren, it's like, bro, what were they thinking? This is the most important part of this guy's card. Because, guys, guess what? He only has 6 categories. 6! He has 6 categories and a very just wonky link set. His best links is Cold Judgment, Tournament of Power, Shocking Speed. That's his 3 best links. Like, Infighter is a garbage link. Godly Power is only really good if you're a character that can do a lot of damage. Heroes of Justice. I mean, come on now, dude, come on, make it make sense. So this is definitely the biggest issue in this passive. Why, guys? Effective against all types facing on one enemy. Guess what? You're gonna be facing only one enemy for over 85% of the game. That's a rough estimate. At least over 80% of the game is one enemy. Like, come on, Dokkan. And then facing 2 or more enemies is like roughly 20%, like 15% of the game. Like, yes, come on. Like, we're only exclusively gonna bring this guy into battle mode, and even if then, he's on 6 goddamn categories. And it's just asinine that he has no 200% leader skills. So Jiren is bad only because of his part of his passive. Pretty much. He has a good super attack effect because he's gaining 50% attack defense 1 turn on his super attack effect. He does start out with 2 key 200% attack and defense. That's nice. He does have 2 separate stun chances, that being for all enemies, and of course 1 enemy when he's performing a super attack, which is obviously great for off-meta content and could help out some beginning players / middle ground players with getting some specific content done. He also gets an attack and defensive buff from his passive to his super attack effect, that being 50% attack and defense when he's performing a super, and 50% attack and defense for 1 turn on his super attack effect, so that is good. He also performs a guaranteed crit when enemies stun. That's icing on the cake. And of course, why does he have 2 guaranteed crits built into him? He has a guaranteed crit when facing a Universal Suave Saga or Tournament Participants enemy, and a guaranteed crit when enemies stunned. Why? What? I mean, this is cool and all, but Jiren really needs this right over here. Jiren wants this 111% attack and defense. He needs this. Because, guys, guess what? If he doesn't get this off, all he has at the start of turn is 200% attack and defense. That's it. Because he has to wait the super to get his defense from his super attack effect, as well as his defense from his on super from his passive. This is all he has at the start of turn. It's this. This EZA makes me mad. I hate when Dokkan makes EZAs that have very niche link sets and have a quite the severe lack of category teams, let alone the fact that this guy is on no 200% leader skills, and we decided to create this card like this. The easiest way to fix this guy's EZA, I think I spoke about it in the past, but just give him up to 50% damage reduction. Why not? Let him get 50% damage reduction, let him stack defense. Boom. Is that a fix? And then let him support. I don't see why not. Because if he was a tournament participant support type unit, guess who he's helping out? He's helping out these guys. And these guys would not mind the help. I would definitely like to say that, because these guys are not all that crazy. So Jiren, man, this is like the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Broly effect, where they have a crazy lack of category teams, and then like they make their EZA just either mid or garbage, like the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Broly effect. A little coin term, but yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are the best. I'm glad I'm getting STR Jiren out the way, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I love you all. This is probably like my 3rd video talking about him, but don't worry, I don't think I'm ever gonna talk about this character again, unless of course I use him in whatever video. So peace.